Well, we've already started talking about spring sports, so why not dive into it here on the show? We're going to lead things off with LL League baseball. You know, we have been so busy with that over the spring. We're going to have a couple games coming up here that we'll tell you about in just a few minutes. But it's the Ephrata Mounts that we've really been impressed by, Eric. You've had a couple of their games already here in the season. And, boy, they have really come out to a nice lead in Section 2. Couple of games left here to clinch that puppy. And give us your thoughts on this 2024 Ephrata Mount squad.
Well, I think, coming in, they were extremely deep, had a lot of players back, and the preview had numerous guys being able to pitch, which, if that's the case, is a beautiful thing, because you can never have enough pitching when it comes to high school baseball, because you have to look at the weather, and you get rainouts and stuff like that. Next thing you know, you got 4 games in 1 week. So to be able to have a deep pitching staff is a huge bonus. But, Ephrata has, did what Ephrata does every year. They go out, they put a competitive team together, they manufacture runs, and I think what was big is the fact that they won those games against the teams that were going to be contending with them, the E-Town, the LS, and they took care of business there. So they put themselves in a really good position, to clinch not only a league spot, but league playoff spot, but then also looking ahead to the next season, which is the District 3 playoffs. So right now, Ephrata in a very good spot here in the last week or so of the season.
Yeah, let's show everybody kind of where Ephrata stands in those section standings, because visual is always the best way to kind of attack it. And boy, look at that, an 11-1 record right now in Section 2. They went up against Lampeter Strasburg 3 times this season because of the way the schedule works. They've beaten them all 3 times, and as a result have a 3-game lead. So pretty much, Ephrata just needs to win one of their next 2 games against Lebanon or Solanco to pretty much clinch it, and then they would host a quarterfinal league playoff game next Thursday. So Tim, we've painted you a picture as to kind of how Ephrata has been doing this year. It's been pretty good. And they're looking like they're going to raise another section banner out on the outfield fence. So give us your thoughts, kind of peeking in here from an outside point of view.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I haven't seen them play, but I've been just sort of, quote, watching them during on the newspaper LMP online. But what I can tell you is that their pitching must be unbelievable. We were talking about this early on in the year when we were previewing the spring sports. Chad, I was talking to you before we came on the air tonight, and I said, my gosh, Ephrata's scoring a ton of runs. And you said, look at how many runs they're not giving up. I think if the paper is correct right now, 59 runs in about 13, 14 games. That is phenomenal. So not only are they doing it with the bat, but they're doing it with the pitching. And as Eric said, this is a very deep pitching staff. And my gosh, if you are Coach Shelley, you just got to know you can just throw kids and kids out there all the time. When you got a deep pitching staff, especially with the pitch counts as they are today, it just, as a manager, that just sort of makes you so confident. It also makes you confident if you're playing the field. I'm assuming they're getting a lot of ground ball outs.
Well, they do have a pretty fantastic staff, right, Eric? They've got Sims, Wolf, Savage. Those 3 have been fantastic, and then they have a couple other guys. So, it does feel like if you have a solid pitching core, you can go pretty far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of picking the right time to use a pitcher in certain situations, or again, like Tim just mentioned, if a pitcher's running up a pitch count, but they've had that luxury of being able to to plug in players at certain times, not to wear out any arms, and save another pitcher possibly for the next game if needed. So, when things kind of fall into place like that, I don't want to say it makes a coach's job any easier, but it gives him a lot more flexibility. And Coach Shelley right now has that flexibility as looks to cap off another section title.
Yeah. When we were doing the game the other day, and I just looked at all the banners in the outfield, I just thought, man, this guy's career, Coach Shelley, over those 20 plus, almost 30 years there. He's just going to look back at that with such fond memories down the road whenever he does eventually have a chance to call it a career. But not this year, and we've already had a couple of Ephrata games on the channel. We do have more baseball. It won't be Ephrata until the playoffs, so let's show you what's coming up here the rest of this week. First of all, on Thursday, it'll be Cocalico hosting Garden Spot on an afternoon 4 o'clock game. Those two teams are fighting to potentially get into the second spot in leagues and also into districts. So that'll be a really fun one right down the road from where we are. And then on Friday, we'll head up to Section 1. We'll have the Warwick Warriors. They will take on Penn Manor. I think Penn Manor is in the fight to get in as the second spot in Section 1. That's on Friday afternoon. So we'll get to see some playoff caliber baseball teams. We'll see where they're at. And hopefully you guys will enjoy all of that content.